Hello, hopefully you can't hear my dishwasher. It's going in the background and it's really loud, but at least you know my dishes are clean. I'm Matt. If you're new here to this channel, and you probably are because like 5 people have subscribed, I'm also an author. That's why my channel is called Matt Gilbert Writes. I know that basically I think all of the videos that are up there now are travel videos. I'm not a travel vlogger or influencer. I just went on a trip, made some YouTube videos, thought it would be fun. What I really do is write, and I thought, wait, I have this new YouTube channel. Maybe I should make some videos about it. So I recently got to do a convention, and I think whether you're just a YouTube viewer who is interested in this kind of a topic, or you're a fellow author who has been invited to your first convention, maybe you get something out of this video. I've only done 2 conventions, but I've done pretty well at both. I thought maybe I could pass some advice and it could be maybe helpful. I'm going to try and cover a bunch of stuff in this video, but if I don't get to a specific question that you have, feel free to put it in the comments and I will try my best to respond. I'm very new to YouTube and I'm still kind of getting used to this. I don't know how people do this. You watch these YouTube videos and you're like, wow, this seems so easy. And then you sit down and try to do it, and it's just so much to keep up with. Anyway, a little about me, really quick. Who am I? Why should I listen to you? I'm an author. My name is Matt Gilbert. That's why the channel is called Matt Gilbert Writes. I've been writing professionally for, since 2000, so 17 years, but I've been an author professionally for 13. I got published back in 2012 was my first book. I write mostly licensed books for kids. If you don't know what that means, I write for existing licensed properties. The properties that I write, like when you go to a store and you see like, hey, cool, it's a Ninja Turtles book. That's what I write. That's the kind of stuff I do. I take a lot of pride in that because I'm a big fan of all the properties that I write for. But that's what I do. There's licensed, there's IP, which I've written those too. That's intellectual property, internal property. Those are, original franchise ideas that had come from within a publishing house, and I've written a few of those too. So they're not connected to some existing show or media or anything. But long story short, sorry I'm rambling. That's what YouTube is, right? It's for rambling. That's okay. I write licensed books for kids. I write junior novels. I've written little golden books. I've written a slew of little golden books. I've written graphic novels. I've written middle grade IP novels. I've been published by most of the biggies. Most of the biggies. But whether you have been published by these major publishers or whether you are self-published or whether you are newly published, maybe you get something out of this video. This video specifically is for you, the author, who has just been invited to your first convention. You don't know what to expect. I'm here to tell you my experience. Maybe you get something out of it. Let's do it. First, you should know the convention that I've done, I guess it was not a big convention at all. It was a little local convention called Geek Out Napa Valley. It was actually an outdoor convention. A couple of more seasoned con invitees that I've kind of got to hang out with and buddy up to during the proceedings. They told me that they called it a microcon, so it was very small. So do keep that in mind, when you hear me talk about things like numbers or, that I'm just trying to paint a good picture of my experience for you so you know exactly where I'm coming from. Size of the con, we had pretty steady traffic. It's not like a San Diego Comic-Con or something like that where there's, tens of thousands of people. We had like, I want to say, I'll say hundreds. We had like maybe hundreds of people throughout the day kind of coming through. And since it's outdoor, it was kind of set up almost like a farmer's market, which is kind of cool, but for artists and authors. So good, steady flow of traffic. So we didn't have to worry about getting hidden somewhere or like in a back alley where nobody could find us. We were like in a nice thoroughfare of traffic. Now, here's the first thing. Were you invited or did you buy a table? So from my perspective, for clarity, for transparency, I was invited. The convention reached out to me and said, hey, we would love to have you come and hang out with us and sign and sell books and stuff for the event. So I did not have to do anything like pay for a table or anything like that. So if you have, maybe if you're self-published, you might be buying a table. So you probably want to consider that cost against, because it's probably coming out of your own pocket for your table rental or whatever. I didn't have to do that. I just showed up. Table was provided, chairs were provided, so we're outside. There was a tent. Tent was provided, and we provided everything else. I provided, of course, the stock of books. I'll talk about that in a bit. And, like other little basic accoutrement for the table, I provided. So there you go. If you have been not invited to a con, but you kind of like, bought a place for yourself to kind of help sell your book, I still think this video would be beneficial to you, but just, take that into account. I don't have the same costs as you then. Let's talk about table first, before we talk about people, before we talk about any of that stuff. Here's a look at my table. Check it out. I took some video while I was there, and my wife was there too. She took some video. This is what the table looks like. Okay, so you'll notice we did a couple things. I noticed at my first con, I was not prepared. I had no tablecloth, like basic things to make the table look nice. Remember, especially for you self-published people that are really trying to be out there and sell your book, right? You're selling yourself. So you want your table to look nice. You want it to be inviting. You want people to come in. So my first con, I didn't have basic things like a tablecloth, a name plate or something. Basic stuff. This is what you need, in my opinion, for a table. And you don't want to assume that the convention has this stuff. Assume they have nothing. Assume you're just getting your table and chairs. You're getting the basics. Here's what you need. A tablecloth, because the table's going to be ugly and hideous and you want to look good. Some kind of a name for yourself. We'll talk about banners in a bit. You want some kind of a name, plaque or paper or card, something. And you definitely should consider a banner. My first year, I didn't have a banner. So it was like, just like a guy sitting against the wall. I'm not famous. Nobody knows me. It's not like they're going to recognize me and be like, oh, hey, I got to go talk to that guy. I was just a guy. This time I had a banner. And let me tell you, that banner made a huge difference because no other author, and I'm talking other big professional authors who were at this event, had no kind of signage at all. No shade against those people. I'm just saying it's kind of hard to know who the person is if there's no signage telling you. So we invested in a banner this time, and it was worth it. I think I went to Vistaprint, and I got the banner for I want to say 20 or 30 bucks. Not bad at all. Totally worth it. Easy to hang up. We used some bungees, those little bungee cords. I'm not a Home Depot person. I got bungees, and we kind of hooked them to things, and it looked awesome, and it attracted attention, and we looked great too because we were the only ones in that section that had a banner. So we were very visible. Again, you want to be visible, you want to be inviting. Really recommend a banner. Second, you want to have standees. So I had these plastic, you can get them on Amazon or wherever you want. If you don't want to support Amazon, that's okay. You do you, man. I just got, for convenience, I got these little plastic standees from Amazon. They were easy to slip signs into because you want to have a board that basically spells out hey, here are the books I have for sale. Here are the prices. You definitely want to have some pricing. And I came up with a secondary gimmick for a second standee that I'll talk about in a moment. One thing I didn't have this year that I'm going to look into next time is book stands. I did notice that a couple of other authors or booksellers had these little book stands. They almost just look like little wire guys, to prop the books up. Because we were able to prop the books up. It was super low budget, but we propped the books up and had them nicely positioned. But because we were outside, wind was traveling through. It was a super windy day. Northern California, there's always wind. There's always wind here. And because the books were open, it was like luffing a sail. They were being carried and knocked over constantly. We were always fighting against the wind. I won't make that mistake again. I will have regular book standees to join my plastic card and sign standees. So don't be like me. Get those little book standees. They're like little shapes, like little triangle shapes you can get probably on Amazon as well, or wherever you like. You want to have, again, for signage, you want to have some kind of a postcard, something easy for people to take. I had these cool little cards made up that have my website, a couple pictures of my books on it so people kind of know, again, I'm not famous. So the books are what sell, not me. So here's the cool cover. Oh, you recognize this? You recognize this? Cool. So people could get the books, they get it right away. And I would try to get a couple of those printed. I got like 100 or so printed. And if people bought a book, I would slide it into the book like a bookmark. And that on there is like my website, my Instagram, if you want to follow me. By the way, if you want to follow me, here's my Instagram. My website, my Instagram, a QR code that easily takes you to the website. Great things to consider. Again, I also think I may have gotten that. I may have gotten that from Vistaprint, but don't quote me. It could have also been Moo. Moo.com, pretty good too. I think that was all my signage. Banner, QR code, little postcardy things, and signs. Okay, so we talked about signs, and we talked about pricing, right? That was one sign. Hopefully I've got an image of it here, or I'm cutting away to it right now. The other sign I had was not only a sign, it was a gimmick to help invite people in who maybe weren't as familiar with my books. I also just thought it would be a cool gimmick. Some people have like, I've seen some other author videos where people are like, I have a candy dish out. That's cool, man. I think that's cool if you are inside. I was outside. I did not want to fight. I'm deathly afraid of bees. So I was like not about to start fighting bees and insects by having like, hey, here's a bunch of now and laters. Oh my god, bees. So we avoided the candy dish. We considered the candy dish and I was like, yeah, it's cool and inviting, but that is Bee City. So we decided, it's actually my wife's idea. I thought it was really cool. She was like, you need to get away from the candy and have another way to bring people in. And that inspired me to come up with the mystery book. No, I'm not talking about a Sherlock Holmes, Agatha Christie, Knives Out style mystery book. I'm talking a mystery book like a blind box that, like, when you get those little vinyl toys, you don't know what you're going to get. So I came up with this idea. Now, this might not be as cost effective for some of you, especially like self-published authors. But for me, I have a ton of stock of books that have been sent to me, like author copies. Sometimes publishers, like if they have an excess of books, sometimes, or you have like a buddy inside, like an editor who's like, hey man, I really enjoyed working with you. Here's some fun extras. They send you 1,000,000,000 books. And I had a bunch of books, like extras from an older series I've been working on. And I was like, I got to clean out my garage. You know what I mean? I have like 100+ books just from this one series. We'd written like 7 or 8 of them. And I was like, I could easily part with these, you know? They're like maybe a $5 or $6 retail book. And I was like, I don't need that money. It could be cool to, hey, if somebody comes and buys one of the other books. Pardon me, I'm burping a lot, sorry. I just had breakfast, and it's gross. If somebody buys one of these other books, I think it could be cool to have a mystery book. So if you buy something, you get a mystery book with your purchase. Buy one, get one free. So, and I put up a little sign. I made up a cutesy little funny sign, mystery book with every purchase while supplies last. I thought that was important to highlight. Remember, be careful with your wording. Yeah, it worked like gangbusters. Like people were all interested. Well, what's the mystery book? What is it? And what I did was, and I'll cut to some footage here. It took me a day to do this. I wrapped the books like I was wrapping Christmas gifts. Who doesn't like opening a Christmas gift? I'm terrible at wrapping. Please don't judge my wrapping. I know I stink at wrapping. I'm not a good Christmas wrapper. Some of these look like they were wrapped with a giant diaper. That's not my fault. I don't have a talent for this. Please don't judge my Christmas wrapping. Anyway, I worked really hard. You know what's pathetic, by the way? That's good for me. What you're seeing, these wrapped gifts, that's good. That's actually good for me. That's like the best wrap job I've ever done. Isn't that sad? I wrapped all these books, and I had, I want to say, at least 70 books wrapped. Took me all day, just like wrapping Christmas gifts. But we had a stack of the mystery books, the wrapped gifts. So like people were like, what is that? Then I explained, oh, it's a mystery book. You get one if you buy a book, whatever. And you would be surprised. It actually, I want to say it netted us like an extra 20 people. That's a big deal. An extra 20 people that came to our table just to investigate the mystery book and be like, what is this? You can fully take this idea from me, by the way. Take this idea. It's a great idea. If you have the stock. Do I recommend you buying a bunch of books to give away? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you have a bunch of extra books lying around, maybe you need to clean out your closet or your garage, do what I did. Wrap them up, create mystery books. Creates mystery. People love mystery. They want to know what's in there, and it will drive sales. So I was super lucky with that. Here's my mystery book gimmick. It drew people in. Okay, so we talked about inventory. I guess mystery book inventory, but let's talk about inventory. I had a bunch of books to sell. Like I said, I've written a few Little Golden books. I've written a few novelizations for, Ninja Turtles. I've written some stuff for Stranger Things. Little Golden books, they're classics, man. People love them. So I was surprised, though. A lot of people came with their own Little Golden book. I don't know if they knew I was going to be there because I had hyped it on my Instagram. But a lot of people came with their own Little Golden books for me to sign. I've done Totally Turtles is probably the biggest Little Golden book I've done, but I've done stuff for Nightmare Before Christmas. Cool stuff. Anyway, so that was my stock that I was signing for people. And some people, like I said, brought their own and we were happy to sign those. And what we did for payment system was we had both a cashless option and a cash option. So let me talk about that really quick. We used Square. I just, you make an account. It's super easy. I'm not going to make this a whole Square video because we could talk about this for like an hour. And I'm not good like that. I'm not tech savvy at all. Spoiler. But I used Square, and the cool thing was I thought I was going to run out and buy one of those like touchless Square readers. You don't need that. If you have an iPhone, congratulations, you have a Square reader. Google it, look at how you can use it. People can tap the phone. People were tapping their phone to my phone. I was able to take card payments with it if they have a chip. I didn't have an attachment if they have a swipey kind of card still. I couldn't do those. But if they had, basically, I think every card now, debit and credit, has a chip in it. If they have a chip, your phone can accept that payment. So that's what we used. We did Square. I had all the inventory built into the app, so it wasn't like us typing in. We knew the books we were bringing. We had a simple inventory. By the way, that's something else you want to consider. If you have a lot of books like I do, don't bring everything. It's too much to handle. You're not gonna move everything. I would say 10 is the max. I think I brought like 7 maybe. Or I'm sure people will read the sign and be like, "You brought 15, liar." I don't know what I brought, but it was not a lot. Keep it small. Mind your inventory. Load that into the Square. And then make it easy. So then that way, if it's already preloaded, people come up with the book, and you're like, "Oh, they got this one. Boop. I touch it in the app. That's the book. They get the card. Boom, we're done." And you sign. That's what we did for Square. Square was also good too. I'm sure there are a million other sites and apps and options. This is not a commercial for Square. I'm just telling you what I used. So if you feel comfortable using a different app or website, more power to you. I'm just saying I had a great experience with Square. And I like that and I'm sure this is a basic function of these, but like it gave me at the end of the day, it was like, "Here's what you made." So I actually like that. Send it to me in an email. We talked about signage. We talked about inventory. We talked about making the table look good. Mystery books we talked about. Oh, other items you want to remember. Now, again, I'm not sure how many of you will be doing outdoor cons. That might have just been a real weird rarity for me. Everything in Northern California is like outdoor. That's great for people with allergies like me. So I had to remember basic stuff like sunscreen, a hat to block the sun. These are basics for us here. I'm sure you indoor people you're not going to need sunscreen. So here's a good little handy checklist for you to remember, because these are like basic things. Especially if you're using your phone as a card reader, bring the extra battery. If you have that MagSafe bag thing, attaches to the back of your phone, bring that. If you need a charging bank or you have a cord or you have access to power, don't assume you're going to have an outlet. We didn't. So we wanted to make sure we had extra batteries, just simple. So that way, especially if you don't have like good Wi-Fi wherever your con is, you're going to want that extra battery just in case, depending on how many times you pull. Because you're not just pulling out your phone for, the payments. You're also taking pictures. Like, I'm a big dork. I see things I love. I'm like, I want to take a picture. My wife was with me and she was really fun. And she loves Star Wars stuff. And so Darth Vader was there and I wanted to take a picture of her. Like, you're using your phone. You need battery. That's the moral of the story. Don't forget your signage. Don't forget, easy thing to forget, pens and markers. Different varieties. So I have different colors depending on whatever the page is. I usually try to sign on like the title page, and depending on the quality of paper or what that type of paper is, if it's glossy, you need a you need a Sharpie. If it's dark and glossy, you need a shiny Sharpie, like a silver one that glows. If it's regular paper, like a picture book, you can sign with a regular pen. Don't forget that. Don't forget your book stands and standees. Don't forget your postcards if you have them, or bookmarks if you've made those. And I think that's it for things you should remember to bring. Stay hydrated, by the way, especially if you're outdoors. Bring water. Don't assume they're going to give you water. Our convention did. That was very cool. They kept coming by to check on us and give us water, I think, because we were outside. It can get hot here, too. And they were like, always giving us water. And we were very appreciative of that. Okay. So maybe here you've made it to the end of this, to the point, this end point of the video. I've been babbling on. I'll keep babbling. How many books did I sell? How much should I buy? I don't know. I'm not going to give you advice on how much to buy. That's up to you. You know what you can buy. You know what you can move and sell. I think for first-time con attendees, again, I would keep it small. Especially, too, maybe, you know, if you're self-published. Let's say you're doing like a series and you only have 2 or 3 books. That's perfect. You don't want to do any more than that. Keep it nice, simple. Bring people in. I sold a lot of books and I signed a lot of books. And I was really impressed and so grateful for everybody that came through the line to come see us. Like, again, like I said, you know, I've been fortunate enough in my life, in my professional author life, to write for the Ninja Turtles. I'm a massive Ninja Turtles fan. I have been since I was a little kid, and I see it all the time. I see new little kid fans of the Turtles and dads handing down the Turtles to their kids. I love that. So like, I've gotten to write a bunch of Turtle stuff, so it's always cool. Turtle fans want to stop in, and there were so many people who brought copies of Totally Turtles for me to sign, and I love that. I've also written a bunch of Ninja Turtle novels from the 2012 series and the new Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series, so I made sure to have some of those too. Turtle fans are always at a convention. If you're going to like a geek-friendly convention, you know what I'm talking about. There are going to be some Turtle fans. You want to have stuff there for them. It was amazing. So yeah, we moved a lot of books. So for me, and to me, more than one book is a lot of books. I'm not a big author. I'm not a Stephen King. I'm not famous. So I look at like any book, any person that comes up to me with a book, I'm amazed by. So I think we moved somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 plus books. That was just us. We moved 60 books plus the mystery books, so 120 at least. And then some people brought their own books to sign, and we signed those. I want to say I signed well over 150 books at the con. It was really cool. Like I said, bring pens. You're going to need pens. Lastly, want to talk about fans. I don't know, you know, if you're an introverted person, extroverted person, everybody has different social battery, different social needs, and that's cool. You know, sometimes I'm good at talking to people, but then like my battery just like nosedives. So know yourself, know your limitations, you know how long you can go for. Always good to have an assistant there. I was lucky that my wife wanted to spend the day with me and help me out. So when my social battery was dying, she was there to help talk to people about books or whatever. I'm always down to talk to readers and fans. I don't say fans, I'm not famous. I'm always down to talk to readers. People who've read my stuff and are cool enough to be like, I want to read your book, man. I love that. So I always love talking to them, and my social battery lights up, right? And I love to have conversations. Have the time to have conversations with people. If these people are coming to talk to you, take the time to talk to them, man. How cool is that? They came to talk to you about something you wrote, or they came to talk to you about something you both love. For me, like I said, I've gotten the opportunity to write for Ninja Turtles, Stranger Things, Night Before Christmas. Those are a lot of amazing fandoms to be a part of, both as a fan and as a creator, because you get to share 2 different kind of styles or 2 different variations of your fandom. And people just want to talk and celebrate the stuff that they love with you. And I love that. I'm always down to have turtle conversations with people, especially because I've worked on many different versions of the series. There have been so many different versions of Turtles. So it's cool to like just bro down with fans, you know? If you are a person who's like, maybe you're not good talking to first time people or you get nervous, I find a great starting point is cosplay. Especially if someone's coming up in a cosplay, right? Maybe they're dressed as a turtle. Boom, that's a conversation starter right there. If you're writing for a property like Turtles, boom, that's a great conversation right there to be like, hey, you know, who's your favorite turtle? What was your favorite series? Do you have a favorite villain? Hey, have you caught up with all the news, right? There's going to be a Ninja Turtles 4K. Are you going to buy it? That stuff. Easy. Now, okay, Matt, what if they're not in cosplay? Well, they're there to talk to you about a book. Talk to them about it. I think people sometimes are as nervous as you are. So remember that. And sometimes that helps me feel better too. I'm like, oh, this person might be kind of nervous just in a social setting. And I'm a little nervous too. So it kind of helps. There's commiseration. So we can we're on the same playing field. So we can talk to each other. Take time to talk to the people who are there to talk to you about your books. All right. I think that brings me to the end of this video. I'm sure it was a rambling mess. I'm sorry if I was not super clear. If you have any questions or you're going to a con, first off, congratulations. But secondly, leave a comment down below. I will try to answer it. And if you're not following this channel, well, I hate to say this, but like and subscribe. Especially if you want to see more stuff like this or you have more questions. I'm happy to answer questions. I love talking shop. I love talking about books and writing process and creative life in general. So I'm here. Talk to me. I probably should be writing, but I'm here talking to you. Come talk to me. I need a sign off for this. What do people say at the end of these things? Peace out? I don't know. Toodaloo. I'll see you guys next time. If there is, maybe there will be a next time. I don't know. And if you came to the convention and you saw me and you're seeing this video, thanks for coming. It was nice to meet you.